The story of the movie begins with the son of a wealthy American businessman, Park, who is gravely ill. His illness is so mysterious that even the doctors have failed to diagnose it. With no other options left, shamans from Korea are called to treat the child. Shamans are people who, while living in this world, can communicate with spirits and resolve people's problems related to them. Their work involves confronting and overcoming hidden forces of the world. We meet the shaman Ho-rim, who has come with her assistant to treat the child. Although the child's mother did not believe in these things, she had no other option left to save her son. Harim uses some rituals to check the child and discovers that the issue is related to the child's grandfather or great-grandfather. To discuss this further, Harim visits Park at his home, where she learns that they had moved to America decades ago. Park's father, the child's grandfather, is paralyzed, while the great-grandfather passed away 100 years ago. Their grave is in Korea. Harim knows that every child born in his family faces the same problem. Like my elder brother, he also died from the same illness, and now my son is in front of you. After hearing all this, Harim assured Park that everything would be fine, but he would need more people's help. The problem is a bit serious. He might have to go to Korea. After the scene cuts, we meet Kim in Korea. He is an expert in this. His job was to find a place for the deceased where their souls could find peace after burial. If the souls have any issues, they trouble their families, like an old woman who was now coming into her family's dreams and disturbing them. But according to Kim, their problem wasn't the grave. In fact, the old woman's great-grandson had hidden her tooth, which was causing her distress. Returning the old woman's tooth resolved the issue. After that, we see Harim coming to meet Kim. Harim tells him about Park, who is a very wealthy businessman. However, there is a strange issue in his family. Every firstborn son in the family is sick. All these problems are connected to the land of Korea because his grandfather is buried here in Korea. Harim needed Kim's help to solve this issue, and as soon as Kim heard the name Korea, he agreed. The next day, Park also comes to meet Kim because he needed to perform an exorcism for his grandfather. For this task, he needed all the information, and he was doing everything for his son's treatment. Park now takes Kim to his grandfather's grave, which was on a hill. There were many foxes roaming around this grave, and it was not a good sign. There was no nameplate on their grave. Park says that his grandfather was a general and the military had allocated this grave to him. Kim still could not understand why this place wasn't very good either. He realized that the problem was with this place and discussed it with Harim. He tells Harim that there are many foxes here and he feels negative energies among them. Additionally, Kim also advised Harim not to work here because he felt it could be dangerous for her life. Hearing this, Harim also became worried. Anyway, at night, Harim, Kim, and Park meet again, where Kim shares with them that their daughter is about to get married soon. Upon hearing this, Park becomes emotional and tells them he has a son and his life is in danger. Both Harim and Kim became emotional about it. Therefore, Harim decided that she would definitely help Park. She tells Kim that they will dig up the grave. They can perform a ritual there, a ritual that will drive away the evil from that place, and then their problem will be solved. Kim also agreed to proceed with the exorcism. The next day, the exorcism begins, in which Park's aunt was also involved, as she was the daughter of the grandfather. Without her permission, the grave could not be dug. Harim brought all the materials for the ritual, including 5 people and pigs. These 5 pigs were to be sacrificed along with those who would dig up the grave. On one side, the grave digging began, and on the other, Harim started performing powerful rituals to ward off the evil spirit, with many people assisting her. Harim was playing with sticks and knives and dancing frighteningly while singing loudly. While doing so, she even cut her face. Then she cut up the pigs' bodies and drank their blood. Her ritual would continue until the grandfather's bones were extracted. After the bones were removed from the grave, a worker saw a snake in the grave, which was a very bad omen. And to make matters worse, he killed it without informing anyone. As soon as he did that, the weather turned bad. Kim, who had decided to burn the grandfather's bones, although they wanted to do it as soon as possible, they believed that the grandfather's spirit was attached to the bones. The one who has to be burned, only then can his soul find peace. Since Kim had witnessed many negative things here, he goes to a nearby village to gather information about grandfather's grave. When he got there, he found that most people knew nothing about grandfather's grave. And if some people did know, it was that the grave was filled with treasures. Driven by greed, a man who discovered that the grandfather grandfather's grave had been dug up opens the coffin. As a result, the grandfather's soul was released in anger. And this was the biggest and most dangerous thing. Thankfully, Harim saw this. Now there is hope that she can save everyone from this danger. To control the grandfather's spirit, she begins to perform a ritual. But perhaps time is being wasted as the grandfather's spirit has already gone to their home. In America, where Park's family lived, as soon as he arrives, he kills his son and his wife. After that, the grandfather's spirit also starts to haunt Park. Park was very frightened. At that moment, he gets a call from Kim. On the phone, Kim explains to him that the grandfather's spirit has been released. He has killed your parents too, and now he has come to kill you. You need to stay safe from him. He was just talking on the phone when suddenly there was a knock at the door. It seems that Kim was also there. Kim on the phone. And Kim at the door. Kim on the phone tells Park not to open the door at all. Maybe it's Grandpa's spirit. Take care of yourself. I will be coming to you soon. But yes, you should open the window. Kim does not open the door but instead opens the window, through which the spirit enters. This means that Grandpa's spirit was talking on the phone and Kim was on the other side of the door. He had come to save Park. When the real Kim, who was at the door, enters Park's room with the keys taken from the hotel staff, he finds that Park was completely possessed by the spirit. Park's grandpa revealed why he was after his family. In fact, when the war between America and Japan began, Grandpa had betrayed his own people and made a lot of money. Because of that money, his entire family moved to America, which made them wealthy. Their status changed. They neither visited his grave nor prayed for him. That's why he was so angry that right in front of Kim, he killed the possessed Park. As Park was dying, he tells Kim that like a big animal, a lion has removed the bone of a fox. Kim does not understand this at all, but now Grandpa's spirit had set out to kill his daughter, Park's son. The only way to stop the spirit was to tell Harim to burn Grandpa's bone. But to burn the bones, he needed permission from Grandpa's daughter. Kim immediately called and informed that the grandfather's spirit was about to kill the young boy, who was innocent. To save his life, they needed to burn the grandfather's bones, which his daughter agreed to. As soon as the bones were burned, the grandfather's spirit was vanquished and everyone was freed. However, the story didn't end there. After the grandfather's spirit was gone, Kim met a person who had dug the grandfather's grave. In his dream, large snakes with human heads were terrifying him. Fearfully, the man said that the snakes would kill him. He explained that when he found a snake with a human head in the grandfather's grave, he had killed it by cutting off its head. To uncover the truth, Kim returned to the grandfather's grave, where he found the dead snake. Without much thought, when Kim dug deeper into the grave, he discovered an upright coffin beneath it. Seeing this, Kim called all of his friends to take out the coffin. But they still couldn't understand why this coffin was placed under Grandpa's grave. The coffin was sealed from all sides. It was already midnight by now. They couldn't do anything about the coffin at that time. So they decided to place it in a nearby temple. It was also possible that some evil spirit was trapped inside and it might not come out easily. So they sealed the coffin with blood and rice and left. To uncover the whole mystery, Kim and Harim now go to Grandpa's daughter and ask her why this large coffin was placed under Grandpa's grave. In response, Grandpa's daughter says, how could they be traitors? They weren't Korean, they were Japanese. The confusion deepens. Why did the Japanese bury them here? Then we see Harim's assistant, who had a person standing over him saying something. The person chants a few mantras, sits up, and then goes to check the coffin. As soon as he looks, he sees a 7-foot-tall man, and that man was eating another person. Seeing all this, he gets scared and goes to Harim. Harim was learning some lessons from her grandmother in the car, because her grandmother was a very renowned shaman of her time. Hearing her assistant's voice, she leaves the place and Harim steps outside. There, her assistant, who was frightened, saw that the coffin, which was now open and empty, was being examined by both of them. This means that Harim's assistant had seen a 7-foot-tall man or ghost emerge from the coffin. There was also a helmet in the coffin, which belonged to either a samurai or a general. These people believed that whoever was in the coffin was a samurai soldier. Meanwhile, outside the room, a general appeared who likely came from the coffin. As soon as Harim saw him, she hid. The general asked her if there was a human in the room. Harim replied, no. She added, I am your slave spirit. The general then asked her if she had his favorite food. Apologetically, Harim said no. At that moment, the general realized that there was a human in the room. Just before he could attack Harim, his assistant arrived and saved her. The assistant even attacked the general with a spear, but it had no effect on him. This clearly meant that the general had transformed into a very dangerous ghost. The ghost then grabbed the assistant, plunged his hand into his stomach, and killed him. Before the ghost could kill Harim, Kim and his assistant arrived. Seeing the ghost, both of them were horrified because they had never seen such a ghost before. Just then, the sound of a rooster was heard, and upon hearing it, the ghost turned into a ball of fire and flew away into the air. By now, they had realized that whatever this ghost is, it is at full strength at night but cannot use its power in the morning. It was found out that the ghost had injured Harim's assistant. He was still breathing, meaning he wasn't completely dead, rather, he was taken to the hospital. Now, Kim returned to the same grave where it all started because it was crucial to stop it to end this story. They go back to the hospital where they learn that Harim's assistant has regained consciousness. When he woke up, there was a strange expression in his eyes, and seeing this, Harim and the others realized that the general had made him his slave. They found out that the ghost of the general is protecting something here. Harim's assistant doesn't tell them what it is. Afterward, Kim goes back to the grave and starts digging it up again. There, he sees the same general, from which he realizes that at night this ghost goes somewhere, but during the day it returns here. That's when Kim recalls the stories related to Park's bones. He had said that the fox had struck the tiger's spine, and Korea's map looks exactly like a tiger. The scene is that a bunch of metal rods were driven into the ground to erase Korea from existence, which according to Japanese rituals would eliminate Korea's positive energy. When the Koreans found out about it, they started removing the rods. However, they couldn't remove one of the rods. The reason is that the Japanese had hidden this rod inside the body of their general. They performed a ritual on his body so that even after death, the general would protect the rod. It is said that they placed his coffin vertically so that no one could find it. A war was ongoing between Korea and Japan, and people were using their magical spells to defeat each other. It was night and general was about to rise. Kim wanted to stop the ghost, but then the ghost started positioning Kim. To save Kim, Harim threw some blood on the ghost, causing it pain. After a while, it got tired, and then the ghost attacked Harim. Kim wasted no time. He applied his blood to a wooden stick, because that was the only way to kill the ghost. Kim struck the general with the stick, killing him and also removing the rod. They then destroyed the ghost and saved Korea. As soon as the general passed away, the assistant also recovered, and this is how the film ends. Let me know what you thought of the film story in the comments. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.